Welcome back, everybody. We are here for another one of your questions about work. I'm Roy, startup investor in the future of work, and I'm with Akil from WorkSphere, which is, I'm going to mess this up. So you get a chance to correct the live example here, which is a service software to help companies manage this new hybrid environment into which we're entering of some people are remote, some people are in the office. Is that approximately right?
That's exactly right.
All right. Hey, that means you did a great job of explaining what you do, because the test is, my poor memory, could I remember it? All right. So the question we have today is a lot of company leaders, team leaders, CEOs are trying to figure out what the right balance is. And so how do you decide what the right way is to weave in flexibility for employees with some desire for shared culture and possibly going back to the office?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me here, Roy.
No, thank you for joining. This is great. This is what you do.
Yes, I think smart companies recognize that flexibility is the key to the new workplace. And the 5-day office commute is dead, but replacing that with a very stringent schedule is not effective either. This will create silos where certain departments don't interact with each other. And so each company really needs to decide on what type of culture they want to create. Some companies are experimenting with all remote, but most are moving to a hybrid model. As an example, I was talking to the chief HR officer at Peloton, and they are doing a combination of like top down and bottom up, where they, as a company, they've decided that they want their employees to live within commuting distance of at least one of their offices and come into the office at least once a week. But each employee then decides how many days of the week that they want to come in. Each team decides what's the right frequency for them. So it provides that balance between, that company Peloton wants to create a culture where there are people in office, but employees still have the flexibility.
Yeah, so I think that so that makes tons of sense to me. I think that geography is destiny, and if you decide that you want to be collaborating in a certain way physically, it's going to drive a lot of your culture. How do you go about, if you're the CEO, making those choices? If you're like, I just don't know.
Yeah, I think you have to be talking to your employees and not talking to them with like one single survey and make all the decisions. Because I don't think employees themselves know what they want yet, because we have lived through this period unexpectedly for a long time. And I think people will adapt as they go back to the office. And so having that close conversations with their employees on a regular basis, monthly surveys, focus groups, getting them involved in this decision is really key.
That's yeah. I think that makes a ton of sense, and I also think there's a huge variety of unexpected perspectives. Here we are, two guys talking, and I've just heard from so many moms about how different the experience is for them. And then you have municipalities or whole states where kids are not back in school, and that creates like, come back into the office, but school isn't open yet. It's like, I don't know, how am I exactly supposed to do that? That doesn't really work. And I'm just curious now, I realize none of us really knows, but if you had to speculate where the typical company, however you define it, ends up in terms of some new norm, what's your guess on what the new norm ends up being?
I think it'll vary by company depending on the culture that the company is trying to create. But the average company is going to have people come to the office a few days a week. The most we've been, because of our work, we've been talking to a lot of companies, and all the companies are moving to a hybrid model. There's no doubt about it. Very, very, very few companies are considering a full remote or a full office model. And so the average is going to be every employee comes to the office a couple of days a week. And this is both the employee preference and the company preference. So that's typically what we are seeing in the companies that we're talking to, for sure.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I kind of keep longing, maybe you guys can make it, for the infographic that shows all the different variables of like, is it different by team and function? Who gets to choose when they come into the office? Does it come into any office, or do you have to come into the same office? It's very different for a company that's national with offices all over the place. We spent some time in Wisconsin, for example. Bloomberg has an office in Chicago. I could go into the Chicago office. So, I don't know how much my team will really get out of that because they're not there. And I just feel like there's this whole set of variables that we never really thought about before that now are sort of part of the CEOs have to make decisions about things that they didn't even know previously that they had to make decisions about.
For sure. I mean, I think it's important also to think about from the employee perspective and why they want to go to the office. And
Yeah,
pretty consistently, the reasons why people say is that they want to collaborate with other people and they want to socialize with other people and they want the management and support. And in order to do this, where do you need the employees to go? It's probably where other people that they work with, other people that they
sure.
socialize with, are also present. And so in our product, for instance, the most popular feature that we see our employees use is who is in the office.
Oh, I
That is
love
what
that.
they really
Just
care
knowing
about.
who's there. Oh,
Just who's in
that's
the
so
office.
cool. By the way,
When
that could be the whole product is just knowing who's in the office.
that is, from an employee perspective, that's all they care about.
I love
We
that.
offer desk reservations and things like that, which companies care about, but employees, they only care about who's in the office tomorrow, who's in the office next Tuesday, so that I can plan my days alongside who else is there.
That makes total and complete sense. Well, I love that. All right. Well, that is some great not advice, ways for people to think about it without, obviously, you haven't declared any prescription for what people need to do. And folks are going to decide it for themselves. And I'm just eager to see, Akhil, how it all unfolds. And so thank you for doing this today. And I hope that that a lot of companies are able to benefit from the guidance that software like yours is able to give them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me here.
Super fun.